We have a listener who had to excavate a cemetery.
This bathhouse was very old. It was built directly beneath a cemetery that had existed for nearly 1,000 years. The theme today is, what weird things have you done or seen or experienced in the cemetery?
In the cemetery. Hello.
Hey,
This is Two Girls, One Ghost.
Two girls, one ghost. And we are your ghostesses. That is Corinne.
Hello.
I'm Sabrina. And this is an encounters episode
Mhm.
where we have a theme. We pick a bunch of stories that you have emailed us. And the theme today is in the cemetery. What weird things have you done or seen or experienced in the cemetery?
In the cemetery. I have one that's not a ghost story, but I want to start with it
Oh.
because we have a listener who had to excavate a cemetery. And it was just cool to read about like what
Oh, that's
that
very
meant.
cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Corinne and Sabrina. My name is Corinne too.
Wait, that's so funny. I have someone whose middle name is Corinne.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the Corinne episode.
It's the Corinne episode. I chose the topic, but it's the Corinne episode.
Back in 2018, I was an undergrad at IUPUI, Indiana University,
UP.
Purdue University of Indianapolis.
Whoa.
My God. Can I propose a name change?
You just have to say UP.
I was studying anthropology and minoring in religious studies. Summer of 2018, I was a junior and I had the sickest opportunity to dig up a 19th century cemetery. I was a shovel bum for a handful of weeks that summer, excavating graves, then got to analyze all of the bones that following fall semester. So I'll try to make this short, but FedEx was expanding, so that little old cemetery got in the way.
Honestly, that kind of makes me mad.
I don't know. Totally illegal to build on top of bodies, so it became our job to get all of those beautiful people out. After the bones were analyzed, everyone was reburied next to the same people with all of the same belongings that we found, but just at a different location.
What belongings were found? I think that is always
We're gonna
so
find
cool
out.
to me to see what people choose to be buried with.
Right. It's like, did they choose or did other people choose for them?
Sure.
Too,
Yeah.
you know? They even got new headstones, which I thought was totally cool.
Wow.
Okay, now let me tell you a few stories from when I was excavating.
Yes, please.
When we were going to dig, we were told that there were 400 people buried, but we uncovered 543. The last person buried there was embalmed, the only person to have been embalmed at that time.
Wow.
So it's the first course of action of embalmment that we got to see, and we got to get that person out. Learned that when you're embalmed, you essentially become sludge. None of the students were allowed to be there when the person was brought out of the ground, and the cement part that encases the coffin, I don't really know the term, was cracked because who the hell knows what they used to use to embalm them. Anyway, it was crazy. There was a headstone of a guy who died in Alabama during the Civil War. Even though there was a headstone, we weren't really confident that there would be a body there. The thought of transporting him all the way from Alabama to Indiana during that time just seemed kind of crazy.
Right.
But lo and behold, he was there.
Wow.
The water table was high where he was buried, along with a lot of other people. And due to the water table being so high, it preserved him a little differently than the other people who were not in as high of a water table area.
Wow.
He still had hair. His brain was shriveled, just chilling in his skull in a pool of water. One of the graves I was assigned to, you could tell the person was an adolescent due to their teeth. You know, when a kid's adult teeth are growing in on top of the teeth and it's kind of like jagged? Well, that's how the kid was. It was so sad.
Mm-mm.
In a majority of the graves, you could find detailed glass with flowers and other designs all around the skulls. This was viewing glass. No embalming means that you have to move your funeral services quick due to decomposition. So the viewing glass was a way to have a closed casket, but for loved ones to still be able to see and say goodbye to their loved ones.
Oh.
We found buttons, pieces of clothing, tons of coffin hardware like nails, handles, pieces of wood from the coffins, hinges, etc., and a lot of nameplates resting on the stomach areas of individuals.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like in case the grave got ruined or something?
Well, it's interesting because it didn't necessarily say like the name. She writes one read father, and a grave about 2 spots down, we found another nameplate that read son.
Oh.
So maybe just
So
like
it's like people,
identifying
like,
like
added it,
who they
yeah.
are as a family.
Wow.
It was definitely an experience of a lifetime, and I'm so happy I did get to experience this.
So cool.
Although I ended up not following in an archaeological path, I would do anything to have another experience like this. I am now a board-certified behavior analyst, and I work with kids on the autism spectrum. Life sure is a wild ride. And then she attached some articles from. It's called Bethel Cemetery.
That's what it was called?
Yes. Because there's
And
like
now
one of
it's
the
a FedEx?
articles. And now it's FedEx. One of the articles is titled The Painstaking Process of Moving Bethel Cemetery.
I do love, what's this listener's name?
Corinne.
Oh, sorry, forgot the Corinne episode. I love that Corinne was a part of this. Like, you can tell how much care she put into the assistance of like moving all of these bodies, because I always get nervous and worried when places are being built on top of old cemeteries. Like, how are they managing and handling the bodies?
Well, because we hear about like, oh, the cemetery was moved, or like this was, these graves were dug up and like whatever, but we never hear like the actual process of it.
Yeah.
And
the
how
like
it happens,
attention to detail and the like the love and care.
Yeah. And what happens after they're moved. Like more people were probably identified.
Well, that's another question, because there were some 500 bodies that they found. How do you identify the ones that didn't have tombstones? Can you know. Or do you just give them a new grave that says like
a mass grave,
unidentified?
Right. And those who were got new headstones, which is nice. But dang, the guy that like the water table, and
I know his brain
shriveled. Is just like shriveled and floating in his skull in water.
Kind of reminds me of did you watch the new season of Wednesday?
Did I? I feel like I must have.
The like
give me hints
zombie
about what
in
happened.
the tree.
Oh yeah.
Brought back.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did they call him? Slurp?
Because he slurped people's brains out.
I did watch that.
That was awesome. I love it. If you have any, like, we want to know these types of stories. They don't have to always be like so paranormal, but like
it can just be cool.
If you, it could just be cool. If you do archaeological digs, if you help exhume bodies, and I think other people are so much more fascinating than myself, and I just want to hear your stories.
Insight into other people's lives, careers, experiences. It is so cool.
If I could just spend my entire life, and this is how I feel about the fact that I will never be able to read every single book that exists. It's so devastating and like heart-wrenching. Unless I become a vampire. But I also feel that with human beings. I won't ever possibly know everyone else's stories.
Unless it becomes pluribus.
And I get everyone's thoughts.
Consciousness.
Until then, we'll take your paranormal stories.
I don't think you want to know everyone's experience. I think it would be too heavy to carry some people's the dark things that they've gone through.
I do feel like I do know a lot of people. Everyone in my life close to me tells me their heavy stuff.
Yeah, but imagine everyone in the world, billions of people.
Well, but there's also pleasant things to hear.
Okay.
And also like careers like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like someone you walk by on the street might have the coolest
What if you just got
job.
to like everyone present like one story from your life?
Yeah.
For you to know.
My friend Madison, she just has such a different job than anyone I've ever known. She works in what's the engineering? It's like a specific type of engineering. She's like literally looking at dirt composition all the time and like helps like with construction of like what materials you need and like what the substance is on the ground.
Yeah, what is it?
And I was like,
called?
can you please take your friend to work today? Like I want to see you play in the dirt. And I know that's like
what is she? That's like literally what I'm thinking.
She goes
she's in like a
construction
lab, like
sites sometimes too. Yeah.
And then says, oh, you got to use the metal ore.
Yesterday she texted me saying there was like some nuclear like paperwork she had to do. I said, excuse me? She goes, yeah, some of our clients like have to use like nuclears. And I was like, what is your job?
And how do you get that job? How does that come to be?
What kind of engineering is it? Engineering.
How do people learn about certain jobs like this?
Rock engineering. That's not the right word.
Not the same at all. But it's like how my cousin Kate works on flood maps for like the next however many years, and like
so cool.
Works with like the city to figure out plans and like where to do things.
Yeah.
And when we were house hunting, I was constantly messaging her, being like, "Is this gonna flood?
Is this in the flood zone?"
I am not in charge of every plot of land and where things are going to flood in 100 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, some cemeteries flood and your brain gets preserved. Nothing hits like home cooking. And that is why I love HelloFresh. It makes it easy to do more of home cooking this year. And their recipes feel good and taste delicious.
So good.
Night after night. I feel like I was in a rut. I wasn't cooking as much. And then I ordered my HelloFresh and I am cooking up a storm.
Oh, yeah.
HelloFresh makes you feel really legit in the kitchen.
You can choose from more than 35 high-protein recipes each week, including new Mediterranean and GLP-1 friendly options. And you can feel great because they have wholesome ingredients. They're sustainably sourced seafood, and there's 100% antibiotic and hormone-free chicken.
They have over 100 recipes each week to pick from. So they have anything you could want. And I have been in love with the broccoli jalapeno cheddar macaroni.
Damn. Stop recording. Let's
I know. Like my mouth is watering.
Good.
So good.
So go to HelloFresh.com/TGOG10FM to get 10 free meals and a free Zwilling knife, a $144.99 value on your third box. Offer valid while supplies last. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
Okay. I'm going to read this one from Vanessa, and it's, was I taken over in a cemetery?
Oh, wow.
Hi, ghosty babes. This will stay with me for the rest of my life. Maybe it was paranormal, maybe not, but it was enough to keep me from ever going to a cemetery again.
That has to be really scary.
When I was 15 or so, my mom would take it upon herself to clean our neighbor's tombstone since her only daughter was living out of state. I would sometimes accompany my mother since our neighbor was like a tia to me, an aunt. She passed at 99 years old just a few weeks before her 100th birthday. And she and I were super close, even though we didn't speak the same language, and she passed when I was 9 or 10. Anyway, I decided to go with my mom this random fall day where it wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold. It was just a nice, calm day, and I wanted to help my mom out. It's important to know that I was not dehydrated. I was not hungry. We had just had lunch before we took off to the cemetery. And this was not a long drive either. It was just across the highway. So on this day, my mom was scrubbing the tombstone while I swept the edges of the pavement. It was a little windy, enough to muffle your ears a bit, if that makes sense. But I live in Texas, so it was a welcome wind. And then I started to feel lightheaded. My eyes wouldn't blink, which prompted me to tell my mom I wasn't feeling too good. She, of course, wasn't having it and told me if I wasn't going to help, to just go sit in the truck. I stayed a little longer to help until I literally could not stand still. The wind was pushing me side to side. So I told her I was going to go get some water, and I start walking to the truck, which was a good 6 to 7 graves away, but really not that far. I start walking, and I started stumbling, and I was looking around, and then I heard something heavy shift, and a god-awful smell filled my nose. It smelled like death. And the shift, the first thing that came to mind was a coffin settling in the ground.
Ooh.
I looked around, and my eyes landed on a mausoleum for a split second. I reached for the door handle on the truck. It was locked. But no, it wasn't. I know it wasn't because I was the last one to get out. And my mom knew not to lock it because we were going to be going back and forth to the truck to clean and get tools for the cleaning. Also, the cemetery was empty. No one was here. I pulled and pulled the door handle, trying to get away from the smell and this overwhelming feeling that was pulling my shoulders down. I pulled and pulled some more, and then it was black. I don't know how long I was out, but when I opened my eyes, my mom was still in sight using the shovel to take out weeds. No knowledge of what had just happened to me. My lower body was under the truck next to the front wheel, and my head was an inch away from the tombstone we parked next to. It made no sense. How did I faint so close to the tombstone without hitting my head, and how did my body end up under the truck? When I got up, my shoulder was covered in ants, and there was a chunk of flesh missing. I have no idea how long I was out. I made my way to my mom, and she said she didn't notice that I had fallen or was fainted or anything, and she also did not smell what I was smelling. By the time I came to, the smell had gone. So I literally have no idea what happened. And this stopped me from...
I don't know either.
I feel like maybe someone had recently been buried and like the confusion or something. I don't know. It stopped me from visiting any cemeteries for a while after, especially with my mom, because how do you not notice your daughter faint and fall to the ground? Anyway, I'd like your input because it has haunted me for years. I am now 26 and I've had other experiences both before and after the fact, but I cannot explain this one. Stay spooky. Much love, Vanessa.
My God. I don't know what happened to you. The ants thing, the chunk of flesh, like
The
that's
chunk
all,
of flesh makes sense because you fell, like you get like a wound. But the ants makes it seem like she
ants
was
all
out
over
for a
you.
while.
Yeah. How does that happen? What kind of ants were that? Wait, okay. Was there like a poisonous ant that like bit her? She passed out and fainted from it, and they're trying to attack her because she's on their nest. Could that be it?
No, but like think about the smell, the way that like the world kind of was like.
Yeah, but ants sometimes give off a
stumbling.
like gross smell, like a dead ant.
But she said she smelled like the decay of a body, and then her eyes kept drawing towards the mausoleum, like, and then the feeling of like the coffin shifting.
I don't know. That's really freaky. So disorienting, and the fact that her mom experienced none of that, didn't notice any of it, and just like lived in her.
She was just annoyed with like young
side.
Vanessa being like, "Oh, you're being dramatic. Why did you even come if you don't want to help?" That's what her mom was thinking. I really
I'm curious,
do.
like if there's other paranormal experiences, or if this like is Vanessa way more open.
Well, she did say she's had others, and that's why I'm like, I wonder if she is really empathetic and in tune with the spirit realm. If like there is a spirit there that maybe was confused and projected their energy, and she just took it on, which is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Cause you to black out and faint.
Right. Or like, did someone try to possess you and kind of like
trade places, swap places with the corpse?
Right. Like they're freaked out. They don't know what's happened. And they're just like, I got to do anything to try to talk to someone, to try to live again. Yeah, I understand not wanting to. Or at least specifically not that one.
Yeah.
But that's really scary.
We do need to know your other experiences.
Mausoleums are kind of freaky. I know that they're like not really that different because it's still like just burying the dead. But there's something about it like being like a small house that is freakier. It feels like there's like more stuff in there, like a darker, like it just feels like it could breed bigger, badder energies.
Well, also because like some of them have like underground areas. I feel like nothing beats Greyfriars Kirkyard and like the churchyard graveyards in Edinburgh, because they are not even just the mausoleums, but just the graves themselves are ginormous. Yeah, which is beautiful, but it is, there's something so super haunting about it.
We don't really do that now, do we?
I think like
maybe in like New Orleans. I don't know. They have wild cemeteries down there.
Some places definitely do.
Because I'm just concerned that we're gonna run out of space.
Well, we are, as we know from Corinne's story. FedEx is taking over.
Because FedEx needs to expand their building.
Us humans are freaking cockroaches and just...
What's new?
Spreading.
Okay, I have an email from Rachel.
Okay.
Hey, Corinne and Sabrina. I love your podcast so much. Thanks for creating a spooky and funny podcast that I can binge listen to for hours. I've always thought of myself as someone who is more in touch with the spiritual world. I can walk into a place and tell if it's haunted, and I love listening to paranormal events, though I am terrified of ghosts. Although I could tell you a handful of spooky ghost stories, this is one that my friend and I still freak out about to this day. It happened my sophomore year of college. I went to Ole Miss, and then she writes hottie totty, which I don't understand.
But if you went to
Ole Miss,
hottie toddy! Us woo girls.
Woo! Yes, and. And on a Friday night when everyone and their mom was out partying in the square, a couple of friends and I decided to drive through a local cemetery at night. This sounds like so our college experience.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, oh, everyone's getting drunk. Great. We'll start pre-gaming, but we're going to also ghost hunt.
We're going to go hang out with the ghosts.
We'll catch you at the party in a couple hours. Or we leave the party early to go break into buildings.
Someone had a really good idea. If we ever find ourselves in LA together.
I thought you were going to say back in college. I was like, wow.
No, to go back to LMU and do like an episode of Two Girls, One Ghost, but like our ghost tour of LMU based on like the hauntings on campus. Like go to each place.
You guys are going to have to let us in your dorms.
Yeah. I was like, that's like a really fun, I feel like LMU would let us do that.
Do you think?
I think so.
I don't know. They worked pretty hard to cover up the haunting in my sophomore year dorm. The death there.
That's true. Maybe they'll be like, we need to review the footage before you post it anywhere.
Say no.
And
that is why I don't donate as an alumni.
Because they won't let you record about the haunting in your sophomore room dorm.
Okay. This cemetery is a pretty decent size and it has graves dating back to the early 1800s. Fun fact, William Faulkner is buried here and it's freshman tradition to take a shot at his grave.
That is so cool.
That's so funny. I hope he likes that.
I love that that's a college tradition.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Go take a shot with
William Faulkner. Willie.
Anyway, we were driving slowly through the cemetery looking for any ghostly apparitions. This cemetery has a straight, narrow road that turns into a roundabout that wraps around a circle of old oak trees and 3 old-ass graves.
I'm looking at pictures of this. William Faulkner's grave.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to see.
Because they didn't necessarily say the name of the cemetery, but...
It's big.
What's the name of the cemetery?
It just says in a cemetery in downtown, just outside of downtown Oxford, Mississippi. Anyway.
As we were about to near the roundabout, my friend Allison in the back seat of the car yells, "Get to the road now! I just saw a lady wearing a bonnet." The driver, Kelly, slams on the gas pedal as we all start screaming. And as we're going around the roundabout, our headlights light up a man walking by himself in the pitch black cemetery. He's wearing a white shirt and faded blue jeans. He has no flashlight on or cell phone on him. And when our headlights shine on him, he slowly turns his head around, making eye contact with us, and then casually turns back around and keeps walking into the dark. Weird, but we don't think anything of it at this point. Still freaking out about the bonnet lady, my friend keeps driving, but because we were freaking out so much, she missed the road to get back to the bonnet lady, so we have to go around the roundabout one more time. This time, when we get to where we saw the man, there was no one there. And it's important to note that this roundabout is situated on a hill that overlooks the entire cemetery. So this mysterious man that we just saw feet in front of our car disappeared in 5 seconds.
Because he was a ghost.
We end up getting back to the road where my friend saw Bonnet Lady. I love that they're not running from Bonnet Lady. They're actively trying to go towards Bonnet Lady.
But they're like also freaking out about everything while... Yes. Because I came here to go see ghosts. And so they're getting what they asked for.
Get to the Bonnet Lady fast. So we end up getting back to the road where my friend saw Bonnet Lady, but shocker, Bonnet Lady was not there. Once we all calmed down a bit, I bring up the weird guy we saw earlier, and as we start to recount what happened, we all agreed how weird it was that someone was walking alone at night with no light, and also the fact that he disappeared in seconds.
That might be the weirdest part, because you all are also there late at night.
Right. Another odd thing about the night was the entire time we were in the cemetery, our car windows kept fogging up, but the second we left, the windows were clear as day.
Ooh, well, that makes me think there's like a bunch of ghosts breathing on the windows.
Yuck.
I love it.
Hot ghost breath. Hope you enjoyed my story. I'm pretty sure I 99.9% saw a ghost. I typed this in haste. I'm too afraid to go back and read it and make edits. Stay spooky. XOXO, Rachel.
Rachel, you for sure saw, if not 1, maybe 2 ghosts.
Yeah.
I think 2. I'm 99.9% sure you saw 2 ghosts.
Totally.
And that's what you wanted.
Because if it was a bonnet lady, like, it makes sense if there was someone leading, like a tour guide dressed up, like, to be on theme leading a group, but just solo.
And she disappeared.
And the guy disappeared. And the fact that they were at a roundabout where they're just, like, circling trees, he should still be there. And the fact that, like, the only place he would go is down the hill and they could see everything. That's a great investigation.
I also love, because I feel like you and I have been to our fair share of cemeteries. We've been to some together. We've been to some apart. I feel like I've never seen a physical apparition. And
in a cemetery?
Or kind of just
like in life?
In general, but like, yes, in a cemetery. But then I've also, there's situations where someone like sees something out of their corner of their eyes that moves, but I didn't see it. For all of them to see both.
Well, one person saw the bonnet lady.
Sure, okay. And then they saw the man.
But the entire group saw the man.
Right. To have a shared
who had
experience
nothing
like
on
that.
it. Which, like, I understand, like, if I were walking in a cemetery or whatever, and I'm just, like, walking through and I, like, look back and I'm like, ugh, whatever, and I keep walking because there's just another group. But the fact that he just disappears and there's only, like, one clear path.
Explain
and one clear
that.
road. We like to dabble in skincare. And
we do.
There's a skincare company that we've talked about before. We've gifted it to our loved ones. We have tried it and slathered it all over our own skin.
Oh, yeah.
And it is called OneSkin.
Don't we look radiant and youthful? No, I love that OneSkin is like backed by science.
Right.
OneSkin's OS1 proprietary peptide is the first ingredient proven to actually switch off the damaged senescent cells and actually slow skin aging directly at the source. You have evidence to back it up.
Yeah, backed by extensive lab and clinical data and 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies to validate their efficacy and safety on all skin types. And they have over 10,000 5-star reviews.
10,002.
Yeah.
At least. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code TGOG at oneskin.co/TGOG. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code TGOG. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. All right. What I loved about this theme is that there's so many different reasons and experiences people have in cemeteries. So this next story caught my attention because it's about jinn, which we talked about in the episode where we covered stories from Asia, but it takes place in a bathhouse that was beneath a cemetery. Okay.
Creepy.
So this is from our listener, Nasim from Iran. I run away from saying it. It is called My Father Met a Jinn, Middle Eastern Demon sort of, in a bathhouse beneath a cemetery. Hello, my name is Nasim, she, her. I want to share a story that's been passed down in my family for over 40 years. This happened to my father, and even now, decades later, he remembers every detail with terrifying clarity. About 40 years ago, my father was living in a small village in the mountains of Iran. One night, around 2 a.m, he went to the village's public bathhouse, and this bathhouse was very old. What made it worse was its location. It was built directly beneath a cemetery that had existed for nearly 1,000 years.
That's wild. 1,000 years.
That night, my
and
father...
to know it's there and to build on top of it. And to build using water.
Built beneath it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So it's like an underground bathhouse. Above them is the cemetery.
And again, you're adding water, which only contributes more to hauntings.
And also think about like the moisture going up. Like what if they
moldy,
start to fall
bodies,
down? Okay. So that night, my father was completely alone. The bathhouse was silent except for the sound of dripping water and steam filling the air. As he was washing, suddenly a voice came from behind him. Calm, polite, human. Can you pass me the loofah? My father froze. Without turning around, he instinctively glanced from the corner of his eye, and that is when he saw it. There was a person standing behind him, who at first looked completely normal, except for the legs. Their feet were completely backwards. Knees were facing my father, but the feet were twisted in the wrong way, reversed in a way no human body could ever be.
Ew.
And in the Middle Eastern folklore, this is one of the first well-known signs of a jinn revealing itself. My father didn't scream. He didn't turn around. Somehow he stayed calm, and without directly looking at it, he picked up the loofah and handed it back. And the voice thanked him. And then he heard footsteps moving away from him. That was it. No threat, no explanation, just silence. My father left the bathhouse shortly after and never went back alone. I can't imagine staying there for much longer.
Oh my God.
I'd run.
Well, and that, like, I'd be fearful the entire time moving through, because it's, if you're trying to avoid eye contact and trying to just like avoid contact at all, it's like, where do you look? What's going to be around the corner? What's going to speak to you?
I'm getting
what might
chills
pull you
thinking about
under?
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so creepy.
Scary. And you're alone in there. It's not like you can call to someone for help.
Good thing he was aware enough to like just take in peripherally what he was seeing before actually, because if someone asked me for something, I don't think I'd like slow turn or no, like there must have been something in him that was like gave him pause
because
enough.
He knew he was there alone and he didn't hear someone approach him. He just heard a voice. That is startling.
Yeah.
So Nasim says, in our culture, it is said that jinn can take many forms. Sometimes they look human. Sometimes their legs are reversed or shaped like animal hooves. These are ancient, powerful beings, intelligent and unpredictable. And if you anger them, they can ruin your lives in ways you don't understand. My father is not an easily frightened man, but even now, 40 years later, he remembers this encounter perfectly. He never forgot the sound of that voice or the sight of those feet. I personally haven't had a paranormal experience yet, but I'm fascinated by the supernatural, and I'm trying to learn about witchcraft myself. I would love to hear you talk about the Middle Eastern jinn on the podcast someday. They are ancient, terrifying, and deeply rooted in thousands of years of stories and folklore. Thank you so much for your podcast and creating such a safe space for stories like this. Love you both. Nasim from Iran. As always, see you on the other side.
Nasim, that is a very freaky experience.
Terrifying. But I'm also
Thank
not surprised.
Goodness that,
That location.
right. Was it technically like a jinn that your dad saw, or a spirit when he was speaking to that person when he was trying to find the bath or
I think that was a spirit.
bathroom?
It was a man that was haunting the house.
Mm,
And the man was protecting the little girl.
the little girl.
He's like, don't pee with the door open.
Yeah.
Dirty, rotten scoundrel. There's a child's ghost here. No, but my dad, the experience where he was walking under banyan trees, that I think he believed was a jinn.
Mm.
I'll have to ask more clarification because while he grew up partially in Pakistan, I don't know how rooted in like the jinn and that type of lore he is. Because when he talks to me, he talks very like about spirit forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious.
I just saw something, and this is like me regurgitating one sentence that I read online and knowing nothing more. But I think it was like in Russia, maybe, that willow trees are associated with vampires or something. I gotta look into that.
Well, Kurt
Lots
and
of
I
spooky
have been
trees.
talking about doing a vampire series.
Yeah, we might dabble in the dark.
So maybe we'll look up some strange, interesting global facts about vampires.
Mm-hmm. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yeah, a bathhouse beneath the cemetery. I'm curious. Maybe we can find it. Beneath cemetery. There's a 16th century Sultan bathhouse in Iran, often associated with nearby burial sites. It's beautiful, though.
1,000-year-old cemetery.
Interesting.
We need deets.
We do need deets.
We're trying to...
I think there are a couple, so I don't think it's just one.
Yeah. Okay, I have a story from Eliza. Hello, I love you both. You both have calming voices that I catch myself listening to when I'm doing skincare, driving, even before I sleep. You're probably the cause of my sleep paralysis.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Anyway, here's a story of an apparition that my family and I saw when visiting my dead family member's grave. To preface, their graves are about 5 to 8 hours away, depending on traffic in Southern California. My grandma, mom, and I decided to pay tribute to my great-grandmother and grandfather at their burial sites. Keep in mind that my great-grandmother passed away 2 days before I was born. I've always felt a connection to her, even though I have never met her, and we also don't have any pictures of her.
None?
I guess not.
That's sad.
We drove with the intent to be there before dusk, but the outlet malls that we were passing were just too tempting, so we didn't end up making it to the cemetery until around 7 p.m. And at this point in time, it was dark in California. When we arrived, it was obviously harder to find which gravesite we were looking for. My grandma, who lives closer, said that she knew the way. And spoiler alert, she did not. So now we were lost in the cemetery after dusk, desperately looking for the 2 deceased family members' graves. As we were about to give up and try maybe coming back the next day, a man who never fully identified himself asked him, "Are you lost?" To which we obviously replied, "Yes." He asked the names of those we were looking for, which we had no problem replying with. And this guy said, "Ah, yes, they should be right over there, undoubtedly." While pointing... So formal. While pointing towards a row of graves. We believed him, fully thinking that he was just the groundskeeper there. And as we start walking towards where he'd been pointing to, we turned to say thank you. But behind us, there was no one in sight. And this was within a couple seconds. So we turn, we look at the graves, we process, look back at him, but he's not there. Confused because we didn't hear any footsteps, and it was also the fall, so there were crunchy, dry leaves on the ground. And also no indication that a man had left before we were done speaking. He was just gone, and we were bewildered. Anyway, we went on to look at the graves, and sure enough, both of our family members were exactly where he had pointed us to.
Wow.
Was this man a fellow spirit? Maybe just like a sneaky man who's able to walk away in vast land that is the cemetery? Perhaps my great-grandma knew that we wanted to connect with her and spoke to this man. Perhaps this man had more energy to show himself than my grandparents. We occasionally bring this up with family, and we still have no answers. So what do you think? We did say our thanks to the man who helped us out loud because we believe in love and light in the afterlife and can't help but be grateful for a person who saved us some time and pointed us in the direction of our beloved family. But this guy was so real looking. Older, kind, a full apparition. Stay spooky, Eliza.
I love these kinds of stories because it happens often. We've read multiple stories where people are looking for a grave.
Yeah.
We even had someone on our campfire stories recently who had a very similar experience where someone in the cemetery, shows them directly to the correct corresponding grave that they are looking for, but within seconds they are gone.
It's amazing and I love it. And I love that there's like helpful ghosts within the cemetery that are just like, oh, wait, no, I'll help you.
Right.
I come over here.
The protectors.
Or I feel like there's so many stories of kids who just like have imaginary friends or whatever in the cemetery.
Playing
and
with
then
the kid at the cemetery.
know exactly like where to go to find the grave of that kid. Oh, there's so much of this. It's so interesting, right?
There are a lot of times in my life that I could have used and have used therapy. And I've experienced it where it's really hard to find a therapist who takes your insurance.
Which sometimes is the obstacle that stops someone who needs therapy and wants therapy from actually getting therapy.
Well, news flash, Rula exists, and they partner with over 100 insurance plans, making the average copay just $15 per session.
That's amazing. That's real therapy from licensed professionals at a price that actually makes sense. They have in-network covered care for most major insurance plans, and with Rula, you can find the right therapist for you. They partner with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide.
I also love that they support every aspect of your mental health journey, from therapy to medication management. Rula therapists and psychiatrists make it easy for you to get the care that you need all in one place.
Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that's actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/TGOG to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked where you heard about them, so please support our show and let them know that we sent you. That's RULA.com/TGOG. You deserve mental health care that works with you and not against your budget.
Well, that was a very pleasant, helpful ghost. And I have an email to wrap up this episode. It has a bunch of stories. I will start with the Ouija board in a cemetery story, but then I'll read some of the others because there's plenty of great stories. This is from our listener, Jordan. And these are the hit clips: Ouija boards, psychics, seeing my brother's spirit travel through time, and more. Okay. Hey, Corinne and Sabrina, it's November of 2023, and I'm just now hearing about your podcast. What? I'm way too late to the game, but I'm so happy to be here. I have a few stories, and I heard that you once said you don't want people to save their stories for another time, so I'm laying them all out right now, and I hope you read and stay along for the ride. I promise it's worth it. A few facts about me before we get into the stories. I was the last person to speak to both of my grandfathers before they died.
Oh, wow.
I have been connected to both of them ever since, and they both play a role in these stories. I've seen things my entire life, but I've been too scared to tell anyone for fear of being looked at like I'm Delulu. And now that I know you two exist, I'm excited to finally share my stories with two fellow ghosties. I'll put titles on each story. Okay, so I'm going to start with, this is not the first story Jordan wrote, but I'm going to start with Ouija board in a graveyard. Because how can we do a cemetery episode without someone playing a Ouija board in a graveyard? I know that Corinne's probably cringing at that title, but yes. When I was 12, I did a Ouija board in a graveyard at midnight with some of my friends. We were all little weirdos and did not understand the danger that a Ouija board holds if not used properly. So anyway, we got out the Ouija board. I said a quick prayer to the person's headstone that we were using as a table. I'm not religious, but I said a prayer out of respect. And then we got started. I was in charge of asking the questions, and I made my friends swear they would not move the planchette because I wanted to get real results. Middle school Joe met business. So I started asking if there were any spirits with us. The planchette moved to yes. I then asked if there was anything they wanted to share with us. The planchette moved slightly and then back to yes. This is how the rest of the session went. I asked, "What would you like to say?" The board spelled out HELLO. Hello.
Oh, hello. Just here to chat.
I asked, "What do you want to say?" The board spelled out TEAK. Teak? What does that mean? The board spelled out TEAR. Tear? Like crying? The planchette moved to yes. I asked, "Why are you crying?" And the board spelled out STUCK. Stuck. I started to ask, "You're stuck?" And the board cut me off, started moving even more. It spelled out SADANDALONE. Sad and alone.
Oh my gosh, this is heartbreaking and so direct with how they feel.
It ends up happy.
Okay.
I asked, is there something we can do to help? And the board spelled out VISIT, visit.
Oh.
Visit you? The planchette went to yes, and then spelled out GRAVE. I said, visit your grave? How do we know which one it is? And the board spelled out YOUKNOW. You know. The board didn't say anything else after that, so we said goodbye and had a long conversation about what just happened. All of us swore we had not moved the planchette. Needless to say, I went home a little spooked, but not necessarily scared. I didn't feel like anything was trying to harm us, and I lived a short walk from the graveyard, so I'd walk around and visit from time to time to look at and read the old headstones. The first time I visited the graveyard after that night, I saw something near the edge of the graveyard. It was a bouquet of flowers laying on top of a solo headstone of a boy named Adam. He had passed when either he was 14 or 15, and the headstone was about 100 years old. So it was odd that someone would have come and left him flowers, but I had a gut feeling and just knew that this is the spirit we had been talking to when we were using the Ouija board. So
because you know.
From then on, I would go to the graveyard at least once a week, and I'd bring Adam little gifts and talk out loud to him about my life.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I started to have dreams, and in them, I would be talking to someone. I never saw who this person was, but I knew it was Adam.
Dang.
I'm 24 now, and I have not dreamt of Adam since moving away from that house in the graveyard and since I stopped visiting his grave. And it's sad because I feel like I lost a friend, but I hope to go visit him sometime soon because your podcast has made these memories come back to me. I hope he has moved on and is in a good place, but also I'm open to him coming back for a while just so I could say hi to an old friend.
Wow.
Isn't that really sweet?
That is so sweet.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. You can make friends with the dead in the cemetery.
Yeah.
Build a whole relationship. Get to talk back and forth outside.
I know.
Off board.
Yeah, in the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Adam just wanted a friend.
Just was so lonely. Oh,
Which
makes me feel
it's
so bad
interesting
for
because
him.
the flowers were left at his grave.
Mhm.
It makes me believe that Adam, anytime someone comes to the graveyard to communicate with ghosts, he's like, come back and visit me.
Right.
He's collecting friends.
Yeah. He's saying that he's lonely and he's actually like the most social guy.
He's
like
the most social.
So busy.
Yeah.
Thriving social
Fully
life.
packed social calendar.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's got eternity to make friends.
Yeah. And now he's visiting people in their dreams. Okay, so now the other stories Jordan sent are not about a cemetery, but they're just good stories. Okay. This one is called My Brother's Spirit Traveled Through Time, ? One afternoon when I was about 8 years old, I was sitting in my mom's bed watching Ghost Hunters, fitting I know, after school. I was alone in the house and happy to have some time away from my older siblings because they like to pick on me. You can imagine my disappointment when I looked out into the hallway and saw my older brother, who I'll call Jay, walk out of his room and into the bathroom. I didn't see his face, but I knew it was him because he was one of those high schoolers that always wore the same clothes and was like a cartoon character that had a closet full of replicates of one single outfit: blue jeans, gray hoodie, orange baseball cap. I groaned and I turned down the volume of the TV, hoping that he wouldn't come in and bother me. After a few minutes, I heard nothing. No sound coming from the bathroom. The door was still open. So I was confused and I called out, Jay? There's no response. I was annoyed, but I got out of my mom's bed and walked over to the bathroom. It was completely empty. I walked deeper down the hallway. His room, empty. There was no way he could have left the bathroom without my noticing because he would have had to walk past the door to my mom's room to exit the bathroom and either walk down the stairs or go back to his room, whatever. The entire house was completely empty.
This is just, I know we've been talking for months now about how I'm supposed to cleanse my house. And this is just reminding me of the fact that I sometimes, even as recent as yesterday, hear Brian's voice when he is not talking to me.
Corinne, you have to cleanse your house.
I know.
Everyone who's listening, send like an energy cleanse to this house because this girl is not doing what she should be doing.
Yeah, but guess what?
Despite the spirits literally telling you to.
I know. That dream that happened a little bit ago, that was warning. And I should heed the warning. And it does seem to be ramping up.
But you say it and I could tell there's no follow through going to be behind it.
Here's the
thing. You're so
thing.
nonchalant about how you're talking about this.
Because I also feel like I ignore it enough where like sometimes like it's like trying to make me scared and do stuff. And I'm like, I'll get to it. And then it like doesn't actually get to like get that powerful because I keep being like, I'll get to it.
Like, let's do it right now.
We have a time. People send us so many different cleansing
Tools.
items, tools. We have
Yeah.
a lot of different things.
Even just stand in the middle of your house and do like a verbal cleansing.
Get out of here!
Like Moira. Yes. However it pleases you.
Ring a bell. Ding! Get out of here!
Get out! Be gone! There, your house is cleansed. No, but you have to do it with more intention.
I know.
Okay, fast forward about 13 years later, and I was sitting in my college dorm. This was a 2-bedroom apartment style dorm with a shared common area, kitchen, and bathroom. And I was alone in the dorm because my roommate had class. I was sitting on my bed, trying to catch up on homework when something made me look up. There was no noise. I just suddenly got the feeling that I should look up from what I was doing. And when I did, I saw a figure walk out of my roommate's room and into the bathroom. The figure, blue jeans, gray hoodie, orange baseball cap. I had not thought of that first story and that afternoon occurrence in years, but it came back to my mind in that moment. I have no idea what this being is. My brother Jay is alive and well. The figure first came to me when it looked the way that my brother looked for the first time back all those years ago. And then again, same outfit, same everything. The figure had not changed. I have no idea what this means. I'm not sure if you've covered it on the podcast yet because I'm still early. I wasn't scared in my dorm room when I saw the figure, just confused and wondering why it had shown itself to me again. I wonder if your brother was thinking of you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's like the same age, many years apart, that he's appearing.
That is weird.
And it's always walking into the bathroom. Maybe your brother has like a really, like he at that moment, like really had to pee and his energy just like projected out to you so much that it's traveled through time.
Or like, did he experience something paranormal in the bathroom at that age, at that time? And every once in a while when he has memory of it come up,
it projects to
It
Jordan.
projects like like one of his fears to someone who he feels safe with.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because the first one I would be able to say like maybe it was, because when we talk about doppelgangers, they're like the version where it is a little bit of a time slip and it's not necessarily an entity or like a mimic or whatnot, but it's more of like that's about to happen, but you just witnessed it either before or after. But then having it happen again so many years later in a place that he doesn't come visit like
and
that.
the same age too is weird.
I don't know. Sleep is very important to both of us and most people.
Right. Especially after the content we talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't you want to just knock out?
Stay safe and cozy in your bed? Well, do we have the mattress recommendation for you? It's Helix.
We, between the two of us, have an undisclosed number of Helix mattresses and have gifted them as like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts to people important
could
for
be like the Helix mattress test center.
It could be. They have Helix kids. So I already am planning when Noah gets his big kid bed in like a year.
Well, and I also love that they have a quiz and they take into account like how you sleep. If you're a stomach sleeper, a back sleeper, they also take into account if you have someone you're sleeping in bed with and do they sleep hot? Do you sleep cold? How does that work? And then they pair you with the best mattress for you. And then it's delivered right to your door.
Man, magic. They have a 120-night sleep trial and limited lifetime warranty. And with the Happy with Helix guarantee, you can rest easy with seamless returns and exchanges.
And right now, there's a Sleep Week sale. So you can go to helixsleep.com/TGOG and get 27% off site-wide, which is exclusive for listeners of Two Girls, One Ghost. That's helixsleep.com/TGOG for 27% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know that we sent you. helixsleep.com/TGOG. This next one is called Grandma's Ghost. My great-grandmother, Ruby, who my cat is named after, passed away when I was 9 or 10 years old. My mother worked at the nursing home that Ruby lived in for her final years as the activities director. She would organize games, holiday parties, movie nights, special dinners, etc. And she had been doing well, and it did not seem like Ruby was at the end of her life at all. One night, my mother was in my grandma's room hanging out with her for a little while before the end of her shift, and she told Ruby that she would go and finish up everything that she had to do and come say goodnight before heading home. My mom had a very busy that day and forgot to return to say goodbye to my grandma before going home. A few hours after she returned home, my mom got a call from the nursing home that they had gone to check on my grandma and she had passed away in her sleep.
Oh my gosh.
My mother cried and felt awful because she felt as though she had let my grandma down by telling her she would return and then forgot. I truly believe that my grandma was waiting for a time to pass where she could go alone and not cause anyone to have to deal with seeing her pass.
Yeah.
I believe that too.
I feel like that we hear that a lot where people are just,
Yeah.
not wanting to put that burden on
Other people.
So they wait until either everyone's come and visited or just until they're alone.
I was very close with my great-grandma, and even though I was very young, I understood that I would never see her again. My heart was absolutely shattered, and I stayed home from school for a week after she passed. One of those nights, I was lying in my bed trying to fall asleep when my grandma walked into my room, sat on the edge of my bed, and stroked my hair. In that moment, I completely forgot that she had died, and the only thing that confused me was how she was just up and walking when she had to use a wheelchair or a walker for so long. She didn't say anything to me, but I could feel how loved I was, and I went to sleep feeling really happy. I woke up the next morning, and I remembered in that moment that my grandma couldn't have been in my room because she was no longer with us. I would have believed it was a dream and all, but when I went to pull back my covers, something fell on the floor. It was my grandmother's old makeup case, one that I had loved so much. I truly believe she had left it on my bed to let me know that it was not a dream, that she was really there and she wanted to say goodnight and goodbye one last time. And there's a photo of the makeup case. Like, this doesn't just
it's not
appear.
like a normal makeup
It's like a
case
mirror
that you're grabbing at the drugstore.
No, it's a beautiful, ornate.
It's a compact
mirror.
Yes.
Yeah. It's stunning.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And it was probably in her possession at the home, like the nursing home where she was.
This is like what you picture when someone goes to powder their nose.
Yes, it's stunning. And we'll put a picture of it in the YouTube video. But yeah, that just appeared on Jordan's bed.
That is wild. Oh, and what a good reminder.
Okay, this one's called Dog Ghost. My childhood dog, Miko, died when I was 8 years old. He was a giant husky that I had grown up with since I was born, and he had cancer and it was spreading all over his body. The night we put him down, my childhood best friend, named I'll call Elle, slept over to keep me company. She and I were asleep in the bed, the same bed that Ruby, my great-grandmother, had sat on, and Miko came in, as he did every night, and he curled up at the foot of my bed and fell asleep. Elle and I both saw him. And once again, I didn't think about the fact that Miko had passed and the fact that he couldn't or shouldn't be there.
Oh, because it just feels so real and so normal.
Elle stayed sleeping up on the pillows, but I did what I often did and took a pillow from the bottom of the bed to cuddle up next to Miko. I woke up the next morning laying on my pillow at the end of the bed, but no Miko. Elle and I looked at each other in shock. I don't remember what happened after that, but it was nice knowing that she saw him too. Okay, now last one. This is about Elle and I. We shared a dream. Elle and I were extremely close and we would talk to each other every single day. And one day, our usual morning FaceTime call was a little different. I called her and she immediately started crying. I called her because I wanted to tell her about the wild dream that I had had the night before, but obviously I had to ask if she was okay first. She was crying. She goes on to tell me that she had a dream that I died. That she went to my funeral and talked to my mom, and she said the whole thing was so vivid and felt so real, and she had woken up crying right before she got my call. The scary part is that I had been calling her to tell her that I had a dream that she died and that I had gone to her funeral and talked to her mom. We had the same dream, but roles were reversed. We had drastically different reactions. Hers was sad, and mine, I was just perplexed. But it was also crazy, and I have no idea why or what that was.
I know, that's so strange.
That's all for now. Thanks for the podcast and for letting all of us know that we aren't insane and for giving me hours upon hours of entertainment. I love you all so much. I'll see you on the other side. Joe, P.S. My middle name is Corinne, just spelled a little different.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
The last one is weird because it's not like they weren't in contact, because my first thought, like if I didn't know that they were still like friends.
Yeah.
Was like, oh, this is your way, like a message, like a sign to reach out to each other, to like rekindle your
but nope
relationship.
Nope.
It's so weird.
I know. I mean, maybe it's like a fear of yours, or I don't know.
Right. Maybe one person was dreaming it and the other person is just kind of like connected enough that like picked up on the dream, and it was only meant for one person to dream.
Yeah, I don't know. Dreams are so wild.
When people die in dreams, it freaks me out because I'm like, oh my God, I hope that this doesn't mean anything.
I know. Well, I was saying this to you, months ago, but like I don't often dream about people who I'm very close with because I feel like when I do, it's a message.
Yeah.
Like most of my dreams are like random ass things and like people maybe that I subconsciously saw throughout life, but they're random. But when I dream about people I know, it almost always is a
means-
message. And the last month, I have been having the most insane, very message forward dreams. And I saw Chris, who's the psychic we brought on to Patreon to teach us about Samhain, and also is like the psychic who works in Salem that I've seen.
Yeah, she works at Pentagram in
She
Salem.
was posting on her story and was like, what is going on with dreams? Like every person I've been talking to is having really psychic dreams lately. And I messaged her and I was like, what the heck? Me too. Like I had a dream about.
Wait, that freaks me out because I just told you that I had a dream about someone we were friends with in college dying.
I know. But
hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so who is yours? What are yours about?
They've been about a bunch of different people, but like, and they're not like worrisome always. Like one of them was about our friend Lexi. I had the clearest, like she was going to date this guy.
Oh yeah, I think you did.
And then I texted her it. I heard the full name in my dream, but when I woke up, I couldn't remember the full name. So I could only text her the first name. And she was like, well, the only one I know I hate. So
yeah. Well, you never know.
Right. But then I had a dream about someone else who like I don't talk to often. I reached out to them and I was like, hey, is everything okay? I had this dream. Like, sorry if this sounds woo-woo, but just like thought I'd reach out. And they were like, that's so weird. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm struggling a little bit, but like, I'll be okay.
At least you like felt comfortable enough reaching out. But I do wonder if someone, like their reaction to it, like I wonder if they understand that like their pain feels so heavy that it is reaching out.
It's
that
transcendent.
far.
Yeah.
I've had that not as much in dreams, but like once in a blue moon, I'll very clearly smell someone when I'm like alone or whatever. And it's like someone who's alive, but that scent is very much
clairsentient.
Yeah, very much like a tribute.
Is that what clairsentient means? Or does it sound like scent? And so I just word association.
Well, now I don't. Now my brain can't comprehend anything.
That's emotions.
But it is one of those things where like it's always been people who it would be inappropriate of me to reach out and ask if they're okay.
Claire aliens or Claire olfactants.
I definitely get a lot of that because I even smell things in my dreams.
Wow.
Not all the time.
You're a scent-oriented girly.
A lot of my dreams are scentless, but there's some scents.
But that also makes me think like when you are smelling something, like that's an important detail.
Mm-hmm. It's like that one perfume that only existed in my dreams for a long time. But then a couple of years ago, someone in Boston walked by me with that exact same like smell, the cologne or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm back in my dreams. And I've never smelled it again since, like in this world.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
What the heck is the paranormal world? We do not know. But what we
and what are
do,
dreams?
Yeah.
Are we going somewhere?
And what's happening in cemeteries? Because there are different thoughts. There's also different types of spirits and people. So, anything could happen. But I feel like there's some stories where cemeteries are like the most peaceful, quiet, spiritless places.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's stories that they are haunted and there are ghosts. And so we don't know what's happening.
Yeah. And sometimes it's because you're seeking it out. You're provoking. You're
poking and prodding. And saying, hello, come to me.
But then other times you're just chilling there and something from the mausoleum comes out and possesses you and ants attack your body and eat you alive.
And sometimes you're dumb like me and you play a game at Bloody Mackenzie's tombstone mausoleum and you get sleep paralysis.
For your first time
you
ever.
asked for it. So you can't complain, but
so
you
do.
do.
Cannot complain.
But you do anyway. We actually have one extra story. If you are like, oh my God, I need to stay in the cemetery. I need more ghost stories. Lucky you, we have one extra story about a haunting in a cemetery that we are reading on Patreon. It's a bonus story. So if you want a bonus story, you can check it out on Patreon. Otherwise, please email us your encounters. Mm-hmm. Like Corinne has said, and like Corinne from the beginning of this episode, it does not have to be paranormal. It could just be cool. We love to hear your stories, but we especially want your paranormal encounters. So email them to us at twogirlsoneghostpodcast@gmail.com. You can join us over on Patreon where you can get episodes 1 week early and ad-free, plus bonus stories and witch classes and book club and campfire stories. So much fun to be had over there.
Thank you to Jamie Ryan and Emma Leventer for being on our team and helping Two Girls, One Ghost exist. And thank you to all of you. We love you.
We love you.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.